Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Hale's Men's Clinic. I kind of always look forward to this. Introduce yourself, Chris.
Christian Ferry.
And he's the doctor. And I like this because I think this is a new thing that men can really help a lot of men. And it's testosterone replacement treatment. I think what I didn't understand is I'm only going to hit 60 coming up here pretty soon. And as we grow older, it's
You
natural.
didn't know that?
I knew that part. But it's natural for your testosterone levels to go down.
We call it andropause.
And that's how we are as
Happens
guys.
100% of the time.
So if it didn't happen, there'd be something wrong with you. So, and I think I've had guys coming up to me, and I was telling Chris that they'll come up and going, "Are you doing the testosterone replacement?" Like it's a secret. And he says that's pretty normal in the beginning.
Yeah.
But as guys start finding out how much better they feel, the depression's gone, all that kind of stuff, all of a sudden,
And also that all their colleagues and people that they know also have a declining testosterone.
right, that is normal. Chris, I'm gonna have you scoot up here a little bit because I really want them to hear you. And then all of a sudden they're really proud of the fact that they're doing it because they're taking care of themselves. So we're going to talk about some misconceptions. And real quick, I want to tell you, if you guys tag two people in the comment section and like our page, Sean over at the Pearl Day Spa, he really cares about men's health, and he's going to give a $50 gift card so you can get a massage. I mean, what the heck? If you're man enough, you can get a pedicure. I mean, do what you want to do. But we'll be giving that away. He likes what Chris is doing here, so we're going to talk about that. So let's talk about the misconceptions about testosterone replacement, because one of them I wanted to hit really up front is I think a lot of people think that it makes you aggressive.
Right. I hear that a lot from physicians as well as patients that are worried that they would be more aggressive or aggravated on testosterone.
So talk to me about that. What does it really do?
It doesn't cause aggression. It never has. It's an endogenous hormone. It's in everybody's. It's in men and women's bodies, higher in men. And so if that were the case, I think everybody across the board would be aggressive. Well, they're not. And it's never been shown in any studies to cause aggression. Now, steroids do, anabolic steroids, they cause what we call roid rage or aggression and all sorts of mood problems. But testosterone does the opposite. It improves mood usually in people, and it reduces anxiety in guys that have low testosterone that go to a good level. And I get told all the time by our patients and their spouses and whoever else they have contact with that generally guys get calmer because they're less challenged with anxiety and inability to do stuff that they want to do, and
depression.
frustration and depression. Yeah.
And that's some of the signs that overweight, depression, not being able to, having no energy, getting home from work and just feeling like you can't do anything. And
Energy is the number one. Yeah.
Wives love you because you're really giving back their husband to them because they have the energy to come home and pick up after themselves or do things and enjoy life a little bit.
I am popular in that way.
People really like you.
So another misconception is guys hear that there's a range and they fall within that range, and so they're normal. Well,
so the alleged normal range is what, 250 to 1200?
Something like that. Yeah, I mean, there's different labs have different ranges, and different insurance companies have different ranges. But basically, it's just measuring guys throughout the nation and throughout time, and seeing, what their testosterone. So everybody generally falls within that range. So it's really meaningless, because if you're symptomatic from having low testosterone, you would benefit from increasing that testosterone no matter where you are in that range. So there's lots of guys that come in under 200 that obviously do much better with a higher level. There's plenty of guys that come in at 500 or 600 that have some symptoms that they do improve upon with getting up a little bit higher.
And the problem could be that I come in, my rate's 500, my numbers are 500, and I go, oh, okay, well, that's not it. I'll just have to figure out what it is. When in fact, adding to that, replacing more testosterone could get the number up higher, and it really actually may be your problem because we're also individual.
Yeah, and also what helps is boosting your own level, even at that level with the HCG. You get up, your own endogenous production goes up. So that can help too.
Now, the things you guys do, the reason, again, you guys tag two people and you'll be eligible for that gift card for the Pearl Day Spa. Talk to me a little bit about how you guys do it. There's people that I'm just going to call it juicing, do their own testosterone, and the danger in that is that there's 3 things you guys do that I think are super important that a guy needs to understand.
Right.
That you do to monitor that, because there's all the things about men getting breasts, and there's So talk to me about that.
Yeah, so we kind of do 4 core things in this clinic, and one is getting the testosterone steady and level and really steady. That's the main mainstay of the therapy. But the other things that we do are actually mitigating potential complications and downside of testosterone therapy. A is when you get testosterone, your own production is tampened down. And so you have to counteract that with HCG or Clomid or one of the other medications that stimulates your own testosterone production. Because if you don't do that, you're going to lose your ability to make testosterone over time and get testicular atrophy.
So you keep it so that you're adding in, but you're also giving treatment so that their own testicles continue to create the testosterone that they need.
It's essential.
Okay.
The second thing is that if you're giving testosterone, some of it's made into estrogen, just the same way that women make estrogen. And so estrogen in men is also essential, and it's good at a certain level, but at higher levels, it causes weird fat depositions and fluid retention and moodiness. And some of the symptoms from high estrogen levels mimic low testosterone levels. So it's sort of counterproductive to not follow that and not, if you're on testosterone therapy and you don't know what your estrogen level is, then it's somewhat counterproductive, or it could be very counterproductive. So you have to give a medication to sort of tamp that down and keep that in a normal range.
So what?
That's one of the things we do as well. And then really one of the main things we do in this clinic is we watch guys' hematocrit. And this is another misnomer.
What is that?
Hematocrit is your red blood cells in your body's blood that deliver the oxygen to your tissues and bring back the CO2. It's what you need to respirate. You need your cells to work. Athletes take testosterone or pulse testosterone so that their hematocrit goes way up so they can perform at a higher level. Well, that's all well and good, but if it goes up too high, then it can be dangerous. You can get clots or strokes or that kind of thing. And some guys taking high levels of testosterone on their own, a lot of them have very high hematocrits and actually dangerous hematocrits. So that's one of the main things we do in this clinic, and we follow that and we keep it below a certain level, and there's certain things that you can do to do that. And one of them is if it gets too high, you actually have to give blood. You have to donate blood, or we take blood here from you. But only a certain low percentage of guys actually get to that higher level. You have to know which ones they are. You have to modify their medication. And actually, one of the main misnomers with TRT is that that's always the case. That's always a risk. But it's not, because if guys stay very steady on their elevated testosterone over time and it's monitored, they usually get through that period of time where they have a strong reticulocytosis stimulus from testosterone, and that mellows out, and their hematocrit comes back down without really doing anything except keeping the testosterone steady.
Which is why you want a clinic like this to take care of that, because you're a doctor. I mean, you know what I mean? I think there's people that think they can do this on their own, and you could just really mess up your life that way.
You could get lucky or not. So
and with your health, you don't want to be the or not.
Right.
The misnomers about what it does to your cardio system.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of a long story, but there was some poor studies done by the VA that showed a cardiac risk, but they backpedaled and figured out that they did a bad job on that study. They redid the study, and it actually showed a cardioprotective effect of testosterone replacement in guys that had low testosterone. That has been recreated or redone, that study, in large randomized studies, and actually it does, it's either neutral or cardioprotective testosterone replacement therapy is.
Okay, what about prostate cancer? Because that's my concern.
Right.
What are the misnomers about that?
Well, there's been a lot of research there too, and the initial knee jerk was that since sometimes by blocking androgens, that it was just sort of assumed, I think, many years ago, that giving extra testosterone is going to be a risk factor for creating prostate cancer. Well, the proof is really in the pudding, in the studies, and even though that's a conception, it's a misconception, because in the large studies that have been done recently and in the past, it hasn't shown an increased risk of prostate cancer for patients getting TRT. It's been neutral. It's the same incidence in both groups when it's done correctly. But there has been a couple of studies recently that have hinted on the fact that it's possible that TRT is protective for the worst, most aggressive forms of prostate cancer.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So tell me, I got one more for you, and we didn't talk about this beforehand, but can you explain to guys and women, I think a lot of women are watching this, if your husband's not up to snuff and just having attitude difficulties and depression and weight gain and that kind of stuff, this is a place, Hale's Men's Clinic is a place you can go, at least get tested to find out what's going on. So free testosterone and testosterone, what is the difference between the two? Because there's two different numbers there.
Right. Well, again, different laboratories have different parameters for what they call free, what the normal ranges of free and total are. But you have a pool of testosterone, just like any other hormone in your body. You have a pool of it, and it's in your blood and it's in your tissues. Well, for lipid-bound hormones, they're mostly bound by proteins. So that goes with testosterone and a lot of other hormones. The proteins are made in your liver. They bind the hormone, and only a small percentage of that is free and able to go into the cells and do the job of the hormone, the effect of the hormone, basically. And so for testosterone, it's really a small percentage, maybe 3% or so. So most is bound, and that's good. That's just the way the hormone works, and that's your liver is healthy, it's making proteins, it's doing its job.
So if your free testosterone is abnormal, that means the liver, everything's moving and doing its thing.
Right. But what happens is that if your overall testosterone is low, your free testosterone is just a set fraction of that total. So if your total is low, your body's free testosterone, the amount of the form of testosterone that actually does the work is going to be low. It's not going to be enough to hit those receptors, and you're going to be symptomatic. That's kind of how it works.
So what's the biggest thing you hear from guys who come in here after they start getting on their testosterone, and the difference?
Energy, and it obviously depends on what their issues or their problems or their deficits were to begin with, but energy, mood, a decrease in anxiety. For some guys, it's really that they've lost muscle mass and they've lost their ability to keep their strong muscle, or they've gotten fat, and that sort of moves up. For some guys, a small minority of guys, it's libido and the fact that they just kind of have lost their desire for intimacy and that sort of ability. I would say that that's really not all that common, although it's a very common benefit.
So if somebody doesn't come in here with that, because that's what I think most people think of. Oh, he's getting testosterone because he's having trouble in the bedroom. But that is an advantage if you have no energy and all this stuff is coming up. That's another added bonus to all of a sudden, whoa, I remember being like this.
Yeah.
So the very thing that we're doing is we're growing older, our energy level's going down. But now, because of this, there's a way that you can bring that back up.
Yeah. And that's also a misnomer. I mean, some guys ask me, well, is this a elixir of youth? Is this going to restore youth? Is this going to turn back the time? No, can't do that. Father Time.
These wrinkles are going to stay.
Yeah, Father Time always marches on. But I think what you can do with a lot of different forms of medicine, this type for sure, is optimize what you have.
Right.
Do the best with what you have.
And if you're not doing that, then here's a whole treatment you can do that could make it a little bit better. It's not going to make you 25 again, but it's not going to make you feel worse. You're going to feel better.
In most cases, in the vast majority of cases, you do feel much better.
All right, Chris, thanks.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. So that's what you need to know. It's Hale's Men's Clinic. Check them out. Come in. To have your testosterone, your blood tested, just to see where your level's at. That's free.
That's free.
So you don't have to pay anything for that, and then you'll know what you're doing and kind of where you're going from that. Again, tag 2 people in the page in the comment section. You'll be eligible to win a $50 gift card from the Pearl Day Spa. All right, share this with your friends. You never know when you put this on your page if somebody out there it's not like guys go around talking and bragging about the fact that they have no energy or they might need testosterone replacement. So someone might see this, and it could get them the help that they need. All right, we'll talk to you later. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.